Hey guys, Butts here, and today I want to discuss my league start plans. I was really planning on league starting Cast on Crit EK Exsang, and I will still discuss that later in the video, so if you want to skip to that, please skip to that section. I do apologize about the quality of this video. It's going to be quite low because I'm trying to do it in one take, because if I try to edit it and all that stuff, the video probably won't even go up till after the events already started tomorrow, so it's going to be a little rushed, so apologize about that. I'm just going to try to do it in one take. So I might be audibling to this poison Spellslinger Oshabi build because I think it's actually broken. So let me quickly showcase interaction. I'm gonna wait for the poisons to fall off of me. So as you can see, it's usually about like 60 to 68 hits. And what makes this so ridiculous is, well, let me just show you real quick because it's a lot easier when I'm not having to attack a mob. So long story short, the idea of this was, well, I was like looking at my Spellslinger Detonate Dead of Chain Reaction PoE, and I was thinking, well, I could also just Spellsling a Bladefall or an EK of Lingering Blades and then just do Blade Blast as well, and that's kind of what happened here. But I think there's like a really powerful package in general here. So the idea is we are power siphoning and then using Cast on Crit plus returning projectiles plus Ethereal Knives, Lingering Blades. I had a video on this returning interaction with power siphon and just wands, or like attack skills in general. But so we power siphon out, and Ethereal Knives will get triggered from the first power siphon. We're not going to have to scale crit very hard because power siphon is built-in crit mechanic for you. If we're going poison, probably going to go Ungol's Harmony, so we just crit gets solved with us, having to do literally nothing. We've seen accuracy, which we kind of want anyway. So we power siphon, Ethereal Knives of Lingering Blades goes out, power siphon goes through the enemy with a pierce, returns, Ethereal Knives of Lingering Blades comes in again, so it triggers 20 blades. And as I can show you real quick, if I remove Spellslinger from this and we put Ethereal Knives here, as you can see with returning projectiles, Ethereal Knives of Lingering Blades literally just comes right back to your feet. And I can't even attack because Power Siphon has to have an enemy. But as you can see, it's quite ridiculous that way because then when you Blade Blast, it's just going to all explode on your feet, right? So what that means is when we Power Siphon, we're going to put 20 blades down. The Blade Blast will hit all of if we just stand on top of the boss. And then we are also going to Spellsling Ethereal Knives like I had up here, which is going to be another 20 blade or another 10 blades that land right here. So that's 30 blades minimum. We might not need the blade fall at all, but that's probably like another 10 to 15 blades. I'm not actually sure how many it is, but long story short, it's a ridiculous amount of hits. And then since it's pretty free to just Spellsling a single, like, where do I even have it? Yeah, Desecrate as well, because we get so much reservation from Oshabi that we can also just play DD of Chain Reaction too, which is 10 hits because it's going to hit 5 times from the Desecrate corpses, and then those are going to explode, hitting another 5 times. And the wand effect gets added to the flat from a wand, which I don't have here because I'm trying not to deal damage to stuff so I can test hit counts, gets added to the normal hit and the explosion, making it incredibly powerful as Spellslinger. Much like why Archmage is so strong with Detonate Dead of Chain Reaction. But long story short, it is a metric fuck ton of damage, and I think this build is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Famous last words, right? Because I have not had time to make this PoE yet or work on it at all. It's just kind of this idea bouncing around in my head that I think seems really messed up. If you care to watch my PoE and try to figure it out, I'm going to be streaming directly after this video goes live. Okay. Now, I think that's mostly it for this, because again, this is not fleshed out. I need to figure this out, and I don't have time to like include like a leveling PoE or even talk about what I'm going to do to level, because I still don't even know yet, because I literally just thought of this like an hour and a half or so before I was recording this video, and I still have to do a little bit more work today, so that's not fun. Okay, now let's move on to talk about Cast on Crit EK Exsang, the thing that I was like up until earlier today was like locked in playing. So I built a character that essentially is my cheapest PoE for this, which is like, I don't even know how much, but it's like the one that's like about 5 mil damage. The damage on this is going to be quite a bit less because, I don't know if you know this, I'm still trying to use Widow Hail, but getting 7 base crit onto a Widow Hail is like pretty much impossible outside of Blind Prophet. So I'm trying to use a base crit chest to simulate that effect with a little bit of Fizz Explode here, which is less than the Ascendancy gives you because he gets 5%, this is 3%. And then I have a base crit from taking Power Charge, like the maximum Power Charge on Assassin here. That's another 1.5 there. We're getting literally nothing from our Ascendancy doing this, so, you know. Elusive, because I have that in my PoE on my Blind Prophet as well. But yeah, I had to do some really ridiculous stuff. Like I have 3 Grand Spectrum Jewels, and we are still not crit cap because 5 base crit is really hard to overcome, which is one of the beauties of Blind Prophet. Oh, there's no way for me to simulate having... Oh, what was I going to say? Simulate having returning projectiles on EK at all. Okay, so I need to turn off this deli. It does really make my game lag. Why was that making my game lag so bad? Not really sure. I think this map is just temp chains plus more monster life. Yeah, so did quickly throw this character together. It is not resistance capped with that bismuth flask down, so I do need to keep moving. It's going to try to get to the boss. Now, the clear on this is pretty decent, but it will be absolutely absurd if you can get to the state where you can use a Gloom Fang, because then you get chain on your primary skull, because as it is right now, we just have Blast Drain with, our like Mana Forge Blast Drain cast on crit setup is the one that has chain on it, where our primary one does not. Oh, and I probably didn't mention it, but we have like no evasion, so we were getting hit by absolutely everything. Because I had to use this stupid, like this is the only chest I had with these mods on it. Okay, so to quickly go over just the build high level, what was I going to say? So this is Blast Drain, Cast on Crit, Cruelty, Unbound Ailments, Exsanguinate, Ethereal Knives. I think initially I just don't have these in standard, so I can't really showcase it. And I don't have Return outside. Like I can use like a Nimies or whatever, but that that's going to be misleading too, because that's like double the damage. But so. Ethereal Knights of the Massacre, you need like 120% projectile speed to get this to return. So when we take the return node on Blind Prophet, this is not going to work initially. So I would recommend using Ethereal Knights of Lingering Blades, because as the thing I just showed you in the previous whatever, or the Oshabi thing, Ethereal Knights of Lingering Blades returns whether you have prod speed or not. You still want some prod speed, which like I take on the tree. You get some on a quiver once you switch to a rare quiver, but initially you're just going to get down here and like take the prod mastery for more prod speed, right? God, I had to do this to get enough strength to put this stupid chest on. Anyways. So I would use Lingering Blades in both slots because of the return effect. Because before Rare Quiver, you're just not going to have enough prod speed to get Ethereal Knights of the Massacre to return, or just normal EK. I would recommend using Massacre, obviously, because it's got more coverage. But the added benefit of also using Lingering Blades early is the random direction effect makes that Nova anyway, because it literally just makes it do a Nova effect because it just goes everywhere randomly, and EK shoots so many projectiles that doesn't actually matter. But in addition to that, it costs 5 less base mana than Ethereal Knights of the Massacre, making it way easier to sustain your mana. Now, for sustaining your mana, you need to have double Elrion's Ring, -7, -7. If you want to play Cast on Crit before you have the Elrion Rings, you have to pretty much either go Eldritch Battery, like up here, and then get like a lot more ES than this. This is like, we want to have way more than this regardless, but oh shit, there's a patch coming out. Like, okay, I gotta hurry up, I guess. But Eldritch Battery to sustain your mana. But outside of that, you're going to need double Elrion. So that means you probably should not switch before that, and I would definitely not switch before Ungles. You can get around that one because Prophet has so much base crit that you can take some crit on the tree, like this crit right here and stuff, and then increased critical strike with arrow distance or whatever, and then just keep a Diamond Flask up. Like, we literally have to do that here because we have a base 5 crit weapon that's not getting fixed by our Ascendancy. But so there are other ways to do it. It's just, personally, I would say it's a little painful before then. The Eldritch Battery thing is fine. It's just you lose a ton of defense because we want to scale evasion really hard with an EOS evasion hybrid chest and then get Ghost Dance. So something to keep in mind. And then something that's super important is if you want to actually use Maloney's Nightfall, you do need this mastery where it says non-cursed enemies, you inflict non-cursed auras on or blinded for 10 seconds. And you need a source of curse on hit. Like we have Azanas. You could use a... I'd say the thing that stinks is early on you can't even use something like Jank, like is it Void Eye or whatever the curse on hit ring is, but because you need the double Elrion to actually sustain your stuff early on. And speaking of sustaining your stuff early on, if you want your Mana Forge to trigger every time you attack, we have our primary Blast Drain. It costs 2 mana. You know, you can make it less. It's just that's how the rounding works. And then our Blast Drain that is getting triggered costs, where is it? I mean, I know it costs 0. It costs 0. Because we have that at level 1, so it has a base 7 mana cost, and then we have this one that costs 10 mana. And we're getting this to like actually cost 0 by using a support that does not support Blast Drain here, which is Chain. Chain, you could do something else here too, but like a support that does not support Blast Drain will not increase the cost. Like for example, if I show you real quick, man, damn it, I need literally any green support to just showcase what I'm talking about. Let's just do the Deadly Elements. So as you can see, now the blast rain costs 4 mana and it would never trigger. I mean, it would after we attacked like 40 times with our, you know what I mean, with our primary blast rain. But so that's how you essentially get it to work. There are other ways to do it by like scaling reduced mana cost, like harder than this, but that ends up being a lot of work. So that is one easy way to do it, is just have this last support not actually support your primary like secondary trigger. Obviously, again, like I mentioned, you can use a Rain Arrow of Saturation. The difference with Rain Arrow of Saturation is, well, essentially you can only trigger one skill, which is fine. A lot of people like the way Rain Arrow of Saturation feels better anyway, but you don't get this double hit effect because Blast Rain hits so frequently that you can trigger 2 spells for free, much like Lancing Steel of Spraying or normal Lancing Steel, but Rain Arrow of Saturation does not. So if you just wanted to play like double EK or double Exsang or one of each, you know, that would be totally fine as well. It's just that is the downside to that. You need 14% CDR somewhere to get the first cast on crit breakpoint. As you can see, like right here, our cooldown is like 0.13, which is 7.5 times a second. To get that, you need a 14% CDR, ideally as an unveiled mod on your belt, or craft it on, and then you can get 2% from an Abyssal Jewel, or you can get it from your boots. This is going to be a much later option. This is just what I happen to have in standard. I would rather not use shaped boots anyway, because the one nice thing is if you get like crafted CDR onto your belt, you can also just get an Eldritch Implicit for 5% cooldown recovery speed, which is the worst possible tier of it. Like the next one's 6, next one's 7, etc. So you just need to get to that amount to have 7.5 triggers a second, which you will very easily hit if you're blast raining like a little over 2 times a second. So I think that's pretty much it for getting this off of the ground. As far as leveling this goes, I tried to do a Venom Gyre leveling the other day, and I was pretty unhappy with it. It started to fall off really hard around Act 6, which is kind of funny because Fubgun just posted a how to level like all shadow thing, and he was switching off of Cobra Lash to Viper Strike in Act 6, which seems about like perfectly right because Viper Strike's an incredibly strong skill, so that does kind of fix that problem. I would recommend following his stuff if you're going to play something like this, just because you have to level something entirely different until around like 85. Essentially, and the reason I say 85 is it's totally variable. You just need the double Elrion, Ungles, and then ideally like at least 2 5 links here. The mana cost is going to be a little bit different if you have 5 links, so you're going to need, like for example, I think actually, I don't remember if you actually need a double Elrion ring if you only have a 5 link. You have to like literally do the math in PoE because you need your one skill to cost mana and you need your second blast ring to cost 0 mana. So that's very important if you want to have quad cock. You can do double cock early, and that's the other thing about going Eldritch Battery. That's like one of the biggest downsides of doing that early is that you can't have a blast rain setup at all because you don't spend mana on your skill. You don't spend mana on your skills at all. But early, if you want to play cock early, that is something you can certainly do. It's just you lose the mana forge setup, which is not ideal. But you know, you can eventually get it back regardless. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else super important. Oh, the biggest one is sustaining your mana. We really need to scale leech. So we have a double leech wheel here and double leech wheel here. And then because of how frequently blast rain hits, I have excess sustenance here. You would eventually swap this out for a shaped ring with life gain on spell hit. Let me see if I probably have one here. I can just show you. Nope. Well, see, that's what you get for trying to do it live. Oh, no, there we go. Yeah, gain 13 life per enemy hit with spells. That one is quite good, but we hit with like kind of everything here. Like we hit with our attacks actually more than our spells for the most part, weirdly. So Vitality Watcher's Eye is like the actual best, but you can also do an Elder Ring with 18 life gain per enemy hit, which is like some amount of this, so you can save some points there if you need to cut that out. But ideally, Vitality Watcher's Eye is like the best possible scenario because it affects our spells and our attacks, and it doesn't cost us a ton of points in the tree. Ideally, you would have like an effect for mana that did the same thing as opposed to having a scale leech, because when you scale leech, you actually have to deal enough damage with your blast rain, which is easier said than done. We get a lot of mana just from mana gain on hit with it regardless from like the minor nodes here. And I would also probably recommend getting a jewel. I don't think I have one here. That's 2 mana gain per enemy hit. It's I think it's on, maybe it's only on Viridian jewels. I can't remember, but that, and then you need 5% poison chance on 2 jewels based on how my tree's set up, because we have exactly 90% chance to poison on the tree and Herald of Agony. You can fix that entirely, like in the PoB I have linked for this build. There is a chance to poison Hunter Quiver that you would upgrade to from this Maloney's eventually, and that would essentially just, I was going to say, like solve all of your poison chance for you. You can also get poison chance on tattoos, which I would have here. This is just an existing character, that's why I have all these weird tattoos that don't make sense for this. But Yeah, you'd have like poison. Oh, is this one? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you'd have a bunch of these. Tattoo of the Toe Shaman to like fix the rest. So you just like literally need poison chance nowhere. And then very late in the progression, when you don't want these dot multi-nodes, which is how you get a lot of your poison chance, you could do, you could actually try to go Perfect Agony. The reason I don't try to go Perfect Agony is just because while we get 12 base crit from our weapon, that does not affect your spells at all, making it pretty difficult to actually get crit cap to be using Perfect Agony. On top of that, one of the major downsides of going Perfect Agony on this kind of setup is your explosions will not crit because you don't have base crit to them. So your explosions will not be able to poison anymore, which I think is a pretty massive downside because your explosions are going to kill a lot more based on them just like the mobs getting poisoned and then exploding, and then those explosions like dealing a lot more damage because it like scales off all your poison stuff, et cetera, et cetera. One thing I am not entirely sure on is how Toxic Rain of Withering feels for getting your Wither. I have personally not played with it, so I don't know if it's enough. The one thing I have right here is, that's why I have Mana Forged Arrows, Toxic Rain Withering, plus Withering Touch, and then Power Charge and Crit. I don't know if the Withering Touch is necessary, because if it's not, it's so much easier, because then that means we don't need to have this Mana Forged Frenzy. We can just move the Frenzy over here and then get 2 sockets back. That's literally why I have to use an Unset Ring if I want to fit in everything. So I want to have my Auras, Despair, Frostblink, and just like, that's pretty much it, like Precision Arrogance. I literally can fit exactly everything if I use an Unset Ring. If not, and you don't need this, you get 2 sockets back, which is nice, because you could fit in something like Cast and Damage Taken or Mortal Call, which you would love to have, because it's just free defense, right? Obviously, I think I went over everything else in the like initial video, but yeah, essentially, don't switch till you have this like 5 links in both places. Curse on hit, because if you don't have Curse on hit, you can't use Melodious Nightfall. You can use a Hunter's Quiver immediately with just increased damage with poison and chance to poison. It's just depending on how fast you get to maps. That will not exist. So you need something. And then there's really not a lot of good mods on Quivers besides like the Hunter mods, like from that influence and this unique. So it is kind of tough if you don't have a Curse on hit source. So like even if you have to use a shitty pair of gloves that just have Curse on hit, like I don't even know, like Snake Bites or something with like Temporal Chains or Despair on hit, I think that is totally fine if you want to switch to this at that point. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything. I'm going to stream after this. I'm going to try to figure out this this Bladefall, Blade Blast, Oshabi thing. One thing I will say is this build would definitely deal more damage if you wanted to do like a double Bladefall or a double EK, Lingering Blades plus a Blade Blast setup somewhere. The difference is I think the clear on that's going to be a lot worse, and the clear potential on like the double chain effect off of EK and Exsang is like quite high eventually. You can use a Snake Pit Ring, but you really want the double Elrion, so I try not to use up the ring slots. Eventually, you can swap this out to a what's it called? Not a Maryland's Fallacy. God damn it! I'm like under pressure. Chain, which is making me like totally forget. Gloomfang. Oh god, I don't even have it here. No, Gloomfang. Okay, yeah, Gloomfang, and let's see how long. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Once you get a Gloomfang, but before then, you really need a Vitality Watcher's Eye for that, because you lose 25 or like 20 life gain on spell hit and attack hit. Vitality Watcher's Eye undoes most of that, but then you still need excess sustenance to counteract it. So you take a really big damage hit, but you get you take a big damage hit, but it should make your clear quite good. And then you do get a support back here, so that'll help your damage too. So kind of a wash, but Gloomfang, you essentially need a lot of gear to overcome. And then at the very, very top end, we would probably eventually go Ralakesh plus Maven Frenzy Belt. The drop down I have for the Hunter Quiver is like a mid-budget version, but like post that, you're going to be going probably Ralakesh plus Maven Belt, and then, yeah, typical stuff like that. And then obviously like Awakened Gems and all that jazz. But okay, all right, Boobs in, Butts out.